A fascinating and disturbing 7-minute video made in 2009 detailing the frightening shift in demographics here and in Europe just came back through here. You can see it at the link now on your screen. Before you watch it, be aware that the BBC also produced a video, nearby the one just cited, attempting to refute that data. I've seen both, and the BBC video essentially splits hairs with respect to the numbers and timing of the projected demographic outcomes. Frankly, the bottom line for the stats in either video is about the same. It's just that the BBC numbers place the outcome somewhat farther out. If you wish, please watch the BBC presentation, but be aware that the BBC is an arm of the British government, and that government is at least as politically correct as the current United States government. I'd urge you to take those 7 minutes to view it, then if you wish, come back here and help me try to connect some dots. Thanks for coming back. Now to those dots. First, the obligatory disclaimer. I am not anti-Semitic. In fact, I support the existence of Israel more strongly than apparently do American Jews, 70+% of whom voted twice for Obama, despite his clear and pronounced enmity for Israel and his declared affinity for and his background with the Muslims who have sworn to destroy Israel. For smart people, I'm afraid a lot of Jews aren't maybe as smart as they think they are, or they love their liberalism more than their fellow Jews. That said, I am puzzled by some other aspects of Judaism. Allow me to expand on that. I suppose owing to the persecution to which they have been subjected for eons, Jews have often been in the vanguard of activism for social change, some good, some not so much, Marxism and communism, for example. But is it not massive irony that so many Jewish women led the feminist movement that was highly instrumental in drawing Western women out of their childbearing, child-rearing, and homemaking pursuits and into the commercial marketplace? Jewish women, ethnic and or religious, have been instrumental in the launch and progress, if in hindsight it can be called progress, involved in what is termed the second wave of women's liberation/feminism. Here are the names of some of the more prominent ones. These women and others have been heavily involved in the push for legalization of abortions that have so far killed an estimated 57 million American babies. And the race to promote same-sex unions, which, due to an unfortunate quirk of human physiology, cannot produce offspring, has also been championed by a large segment of the Jewish community. Isn't that irony compounded when one considers that the consequent fall-off in the numbers of children born to these women has opened the floodgate to an Islam that, 1, has as a prime goal the destruction of Israel and the elimination of every Jew from the earth, and 2, seeks to place all liberated non-Jewish women under such severe domination and control of men that, in comparison, it would have caused the early feminists to view their alleged inferiority to men in the 60s to be a non-issue, and the good old days. Given that a culture is passed down to the children mainly by mothers, 14 years into the 21st century, Western culture is committing suicide, and those who seek the overthrow and destruction of our culture outbreed us and indoctrinate their offspring in their culture. That it is a culture that impels, for example, their children to strap on explosive vests and wade into crowds of strangers whose only crime is that they embrace another faith should deeply concern us all. But what must begin to concern us more is that if we fail to reverse the so-called advances of radical feminism, we will lose. And as I have commented before, would it not be monumental irony that if Muslim Sharia law takes root here, the biggest losers will be the same women who will have brought us to that dreadful place? When that time comes, they will be easy to recognize, as they are required to go about in public always accompanied by a man, clothed from head to toe in their canvas prisons known as burqas. Did I mention that they will never be seen driving a car or going to school? Many very young girls of around 7 years old or so will be seen with their much, much older husbands. Those females who disobey shari'a law can periodically be seen being beaten on the street by other men. And for serious offenses, such as being forcibly raped, some of these women will be murdered by male family members in so-called honor killings, while the man who raped them goes largely unpunished. Some of the more egregious female offenders will be publicly beheaded. Ah yes, as I commented earlier, the new world the feminists and women's libbers have helped us create will cause many of them to long for the good old days of the 1950s and 60s, but alas, by then those days will be gone forever.
Annesinden destur aldı durmadı, annesinden